There we go.
All right, yo everybody, this is Lefty's Logic. This is a new channel I'm just starting today. It's Friday, what day is it? November 18th. November 19th is a big fight. I'm here with local boxing trainer and strength and conditioning coach Mark Greenwood, Chicagoland area.
Dude.
So we're going to go over the undercard first, then we're going to lay down the main event in a separate video. But yeah, if you like the channel, it's going to be a lot of baseball, a lot of boxing, a lot of football. And you know, if you have anything, any other kind of suggestions, lay it down in the comments section, and I'll come out with it when I can. So the undercard for this event is Curtis Stevens against James De La Rosa, Alexander Vosdek and Isaac Chilemba, and Maurice Hooker and Darley Perez is the co-main event. Now, my initial thoughts on the undercard were that it was a mediocre undercard. It wasn't the worst, wasn't the best, and then I took a closer look at the promoters, and the promoters are not the superpowers of boxing. It's Main Events and Rock Nation, which is Jay-Z's promotional outfit. So considering that they're two smaller promoters, it's a pretty good card. So Mark, what are your thoughts on the undercard as a whole?
Mediocre, definitely. I think with the promoters, actually the main concern is the main event. You know, that's what's important. I mean, it's a good thing that all of these guys are getting shots. It's still all talent down here. You know, it's just not being pushed in the right direction. But I'd be kind of excited though to try to stay with Rock Nation. You know, because I believe that Rock Nation is up and coming. You know, I think Water's a big thing for them, and I think they're going to continue to pick up, you know, other talent. But, you know, as far as undercard itself, you know, it'll be some different fight. It'll be some decent fights because you're going to see some of these fights that some of these fighters, you know, they're hungry still. You know, they're hungry. So, you know, this undercard, you know, it may turn out to be, you know, better than the undercard of a humongous show, Floyd and Pacquiao undercard. Well, that wasn't the greatest undercard, so let me give another example. But somebody
else, typical top rank,
right? A typical top rank when you got nothing but big fighters on the undercard, but you don't see the best fights. You see what I'm saying? So here you still got some hungry fighters here, and it may turn out to be a really, really good show. Sometimes these undercards top off their own main events, so you know we'll have to see.
All right, well, let's get into the first fight. The first fight is Curtis Stevens, former Triple G victim, against James De La Rosa, who fought and beat Alfredo Angulo, and also lost a fight against last name Quigley. So, what are your thoughts about Stevens as a fighter?
Good fighter, good defense, good mover. Sometimes he waits too long, and you know he'll just it's a matter of you got to be first. You know he's gonna have to be first to keep it moving. Other than that, he's gonna get tagged. You know, and De La Rosa's gonna push for him.
And what are your thoughts about De La Rosa?
I think he's just gonna bring it. Honestly, I do. I think he's gonna bring it.
I think you like him.
Yeah. He's definitely gonna bring it. You're not gonna get a standstill. You're not gonna get a I'm gonna wait and see what this guy's gonna do. No, he's gonna bring it definitely. And I would shoot on that side.
All right, so if you had a bet to put down,
where's
your money going? Where's your money going? If you had a bet to put down on the Stevens De La Rosa fight.
I'm gonna go with De La Rosa.
Yeah?
I'm a betting man.
Okay.
If I was a betting
man. Well, personally, I'd go for Stevens. Stevens comes out flat every once in a while. That's a main concern.
Right.
But I noticed that whenever he comes out flat, it's a smaller event. You know, gotcha. It's like he came out and beat this undefeated prospect in his last fight. What was it, for Canelo and Khan, I believe. There was a Patrick Teixeira. He was undefeated, Brazilian,
right? And
he knocked him out. But you know, they both get hit. Stevens sometimes The fight's really flat-footed. He doesn't cut off the ring consistently. De La Rosa's got good feet. He's got good lateral movement. I'm favoring Stevens, but there is definitely more than one scenario that I can think of that De La Rosa could pull it off.
Absolutely, I agree.
So there it is. I'd say I'd bet on a Stevens KO. I think if it'll happen probably in the first 8 rounds. Yeah, first 8 rounds, I think, middle of the fight. Maybe he breaks him down, but I could also see a De La Rosa decision. But I want to see what, that's a fight that...
That's what I was thinking, the distance, for me personally.
Yeah. You think?
You get in the decision, yeah.
All right, well, I remember Hassan and Dom definitely did decision him. And that was a taller, lankier guy as well. So I want to see how that fight turns out. Second fight is Alexander Gvozdyk against Isaac Chilemba at 175. What are your have you seen a lot of tape on Gvozdyk?
Not on Gvozdyk. So that one would be a hard one for me to call. As far as Chilemba, I'll definitely say that I'd definitely be interested in watching the fight and seeing which way it's going to go. But as far as Gvozdyk, I'm not too familiar with his fights.
Okay, well, so what do you think about Chilemba? What his style? Think of the typical stand-up European style with probably more lateral movement. That's what Gvozdyk is. Power puncher. He throws more combinations, I think, than a typical European fighter.
Okay.
But Chilemba, how would his style match up to someone like that?
As far as a big European style, I can definitely see Chilemba knocking the hands down, getting behind the stance. When you get some European guys, their hands are a little bit further away from their face and body, and I see Chilemba being able to capitalize on getting past those hands without, there's always that when you jump in, you can get rocked by a European guy that keeps his hands in front of him. But I think, Chilemba has enough movement, a little bit enough slickness to get past that big open stance with that. So, but still, you never know. I mean, this guy could be faster. You know what I'm saying? He could have quicker hand movement. His hands may be a little bit closer. I'm not familiar with his style, so I definitely have to look into him before I would make a final decision, a final call on it. But Chilemba, I've seen him get down, so he'd be okay for me. But I don't know what the other guy's doing.
All right. Well, Gvozdyk, he's got about 250 amateur fights. He fought in the same World Series of boxing that Lomachenko fought in. He's got good competition there. He's seen a lot of international work. Like I said, he's got good lateral movement. He's got good feet. He throws in combination. Now, the main concern I have, because I'm predicting Gvozdyk winning, the main thing I want to see is if he knocks Chilemba out or goes to a decision. However, there is a concern is that when Kovalev fought Chilemba, he was using feints to get Chilemba to where he wanted him to go.
Okay.
And I haven't seen any feints with Gvozdyk yet. So
if he doesn't set the tone, he's going to have a harder time. If he doesn't set the tone, set the pace of the fight and in the direction he wants it to go, Chilemba might have a chance, especially going to a decision.
Yeah.
You're not going to knock him out. But
if you're throwing combinations to basically get your work done and try to get somewhere where you want him to go, you got a lot of countering opportunities if you're Chilemba.
True.
But Chilemba is here not necessarily as an opponent, but like a guy that's seen, he just fought Kovalev a year ago, almost to the day. So, I guess they're trying to gauge where Gvozdyk really is right now. And, I think Gvozdyk wins. I don't know if it's by knockout or not. But then again, I am a sucker for power punchers, so maybe I'm wrong. But But this kid looked really good on tape. He looked really good.
Look him up.
So we'll see. Now, have you? What do you think about the Hooker versus Perez fight? Maurice Hooker versus Darley Perez at 140.
Haven't seen them two, honestly. What would your take be on at 140? 5'11", 5'11", 5'9"?
5'11", 5'7". Hooker versus Perez. Perez last fought his last big fight, I guess, because he had a couple European fights with a guy named Anthony Crolla.
Maybe I did see him.
And he was it was a draw the first time, and then he got knocked out by Crolla in the middle rounds of the fight. And before that, he fought Gamboa. I think that was his last HBO appearance. And Gamboa, was one of those 118 to 110 fights. And Gamboa didn't really do much of anything. Perez seems like they're kind of a spoiler, like a guy that's hard to look good against, almost like a Chilemba. And Hooker's 5'11". He's got, this dude explodes.
Really?
This dude explodes. Like a couple of fights that I seen.
Kind of like Broner used to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it used to.
When he used to let out those 11 punches in one combo?
Yeah, back when, he didn't have that one ab.
Right.
So yeah, you got, like Hooker, like I've seen him hit dudes and they're out before they hit the floor. That's what I want to see here. To be honest, I think Hooker should win by knockout. It's a 33-year-old guy coming up a weight class.
Okay.
And that's my take. Hooker by KO, Stevens possible KO, or James De La Rosa decision.
Right.
But Chilemba, we'll see what happens with that. So already we got some different opinions. And that's a good thing. That's okay.
Hey, it's the way it goes. Everybody see things differently,
But all right, so
I'm not a sucker for power punching. I'm a sucker for fast punching, being hit 5 times versus 1 good time. But it all still wears you down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So even if you got, you drop your hardest punch, okay, now you've got a fight on your hands if your opponent is taking that punch. So then it gets into wearing your opponent down, and it doesn't have to be the hardest punches, but it can be the hardest punches and wear your opponent down even faster. So some people just naturally hit hard, so it's nothing wrong with that. I mean, a lot of times, I've sparred and I'm going light and there's somebody that's trying to go just steady trying to go in on me. So, but I believe in working when you sparring. So sometimes, I have to put a little oomph behind it to slow you down. Let's work. You know what I mean? So, it's just the name of the game, But yeah, but there's nothing wrong with having different opinions because we learn from each other, We don't learn from some of you guys, putting your comments in. You may feel a certain way, and that's cool. It's not an argument or a debate. It's just getting knowledge from each other. You may see something that we don't see. We may see something that you don't see. So, that's the good thing about this when you can sit and just discuss it. Versus, negative this, negative that. No, it's not about the negativity. It's about getting the knowledge, So, but yeah, so let's get on to the next one, bro.
All right, so like I said, hit me up in the comments section. I will respond. If you got any other ideas for any other videos, any kind of sports you want to hit me up about, leave a comment. Other than that, sub me, like me.
I mean, but anything too. Don't forget, we got a conditioning contest. We got Glory Kickboxing. We got people in every aspect. So if you got any ideas, any type of open martial arts, any ideas that you want to discuss, hit my man up and we'll get it.
Yeah. Other than all that, Lefty out.
Peace.